Secret House against. You know us. It's Jet. It's Mega. It's Deza. And today we are talking about the new album by Phiik and Lungs, Carrot Season. This was released on POW Recordings. That's Passion of the Weiss, Jeff Weiss, who of course is also a legend in hip hop media in his own right.
Phenomenal writer.
56 minutes, 20 songs, released on the 10th of September. And now I'm going to get real lazy. I'm going to just read this passage from the Bandcamp page because it's dope and I'm not sure who wrote it. But I think it's pretty indicative of the direction of the record and some of the observations that we will have had about it as well. So Phiik and Lungs are an abstract attack from another planet, the Iron Galaxy built and reimagined. Next generation heirs to company flow with the clocks exploding a quarter century ahead. New York subterranean heroes laughing in the rubble, rewinding casket drops and making enemies fume. The sound of reality unraveling for the chaos rumbling in the back of your brain. Pick your poison. Production by OLASEGUN. And we're going to have a lot to say about the production on this, I believe. This is produced start to finish by OLASEGUN. It's got 1 million features on it, and they're all dope. We got YL, we got AKAI SOLO, Wavy Bagels, Michael Christmas, Lord Jah-Monte Ogbon, Homeboy Sandman, and Fatboi Sharif.
All New Yorker type of cats.
All New Yorker. This is an incredibly, Brooklyn specific, but New York more broadly type record. And we like reviewed
Tay's Grip crew is who they're a part of. So that's like a lot of the cats that we listen to. I think Tay's Grip specifically is like AKAI SOLO, Phiik Lungs, Silence, shout out to Silence, Gam, Citizen, and Amani. And then there's some producers, Iblis, which I think is Ade Hakim, but I don't know if they're still associated. Elric, Shea Butter, Wavy Bagels also is a part of that Brain Trust, and Seiji Beats. But also at the same time, like a lot of people who we record and discuss music, like No Face, Argov, Roper Williams, as well as like Fatboi Sharif and Samia Truths, C Screeny, Lord Queso. There, I'm not sure if One Alcabulon is so much like associated with them, but but I think that this is all like they're kind of like New York collective of just like radical art.
So we reviewed last year's Another Planet 4, which, as you can probably tell, was the fourth in their Another Planet series. That was Phiik and Lungs. That record was produced entirely by Lungs under his alias Lone Sword. And I think it's fair to say that we're both big fans of the artist. But Deza, you were not present for that previous review. Were you familiar with either of these artists?
No, I actually wasn't at all. And to be honest, I was having a hard time telling who was who. So
fair enough.
The deeper rapper, is that Phiik?
That's Phiik.
Phiik.
Well, no. So Lungs is the one who's got like a kind of cool, like low-key kind of delivery.
His voice has a bit of a higher register.
He's got a higher register, and then Phiik is a little more aggressive. He's got a bigger kind of voice. I mean, they take turns on point and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like Phiik is a little more, maybe a little more traditional in terms of his voice and his delivery.
I would say the opposite. I would say that Lungs is a little bit more traditional, and Phiik is more like rapid pentameter,
kind of pentameter,
long form sentences. Like he always kind of raps fast, whereas like I think Lungs is a little bit different. I'm surprised that you had a difficult time telling them apart, but that happens to me on so many artists.
Apart. I just couldn't tell who was who.
That
was
right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're very
I get
distinctive, but I just didn't know who was who. Yeah.
So there was a lot of discourse around these artists. I kept seeing somebody had posted the video in the lead up to the release of this album. They posted the video to Gazpacho, where they are just standing outside of standing next to a brick wall or outside a convenience store or something.
Most of their videos are like, yo, we're regular ass dudes in New York, check it out.
And
they're hard. I like it.
They're both looking kind of haggard, and Lungs is like rapping his ass off, and Phiik is just kind of standing there in the background zoning out, and every now and then he'll just like add an extra line that based on what Lungs is rapping, and then they switch. And I thought it was fucking ill, but I think there were a lot of people online that maybe felt certain types of ways about it. There was a lot of discourse around it, and I was just like, no, you people are all fucking insane. These guys are incredible.
Well, I kind of get it because, it's something that I think a lot of people who have been listening to more of like the left side of hip hop, not political left, but like kind of the experimental, the abstract, the avant-garde, the the New York underground, the West Coast underground, from the tradition of the New York Poets Cafe Cats and sound bombing era, and even on the West Coast, with your Project Blows, like a lot of those artists do not speak to the sensibilities of most of your mainstream like rap people. Like it's like these guys are way beyond the guys who are still like arguing whether or not Nas or Jay-Z are the best, or they don't have new favorite MCs like that except for like Joyner Lucas and shit. Like these guys have always been to the left of they're to the left of things, and they're not so similar to artists of the past, but they kind of have that similar kind of like artistic. I couldn't help but
feel as if maybe a lot of these people, and I could be wrong about this, and I don't want to make any negative assumptions about people, but I kind of got the impression that people saw two white dudes rapping fast and thought that this was like an Eminem type thing rather than being left field or interesting. I think a lot of these people probably like MF Doom, I think a lot of these people probably like even a Kendrick or someone more mainstream, but like who's a little more interesting, a Lupe or something like that.
So you're talking about this video they posted.
So it just the response was
very, a larger very mixed to this topic about their styles
a broader topic. And even when I posted on like non-music related Discord servers about this Carrot Season joint is fucking crazy, burying the lead a little bit there. I love this album. People were like, I saw these guys online and something bothers me about it. I'm not into it. And I was just like, no, you're tripping. This is as far as like left field, interesting New York rap is going, just the amount of really, really dope stuff coming out of there right now, including several of the albums we've reviewed recently, whether that's, One Al Kabulan or Big Flowers or whoever else. There's so much. King Vision Ultra, the whole PTP crew, Nakama, everything those guys are doing, Silent Sleep. Like
virtually every single album that we review, except for like Lupe. And we only do Lupe. We do Lupe a bit reluctantly. But I think you'll still find a lot of those people, like when they hear like AKAI, like if like there's certain aspects of the formula of hip hop that people feel comfortable like saying is like good hip hop. Yeah. And most of those people are going to listen to like Rhapsody Me, like that's real hip hop. That's what it is. And that's true too. But at the same time, it's like hip hop is, a lot of things are hip hop right now. You know what I mean? Like fucking, the freak things that Puff Daddy were doing were like hip hop at a point. And then it's like everything's fucking hip hop. But this definitely does lean more into the dimension of like a different type of stylistic lineage. Again, they're not fucking. They're not necessarily doing anything new under the sun, but they're growing some new fucking style. Like they're growing some new approaches, and it really is interesting. I've become so tired listening to like the unwashed masses opinions about hip hop, because I guess as anything with social media, anytime you got people have the opportunity to have an opinion on there, everybody has the opportunity for it. So you're just gonna hear a bunch of like opinions that don't necessarily have anything to do with why you appreciate something, and I just don't engage with. Somebody telling me like, but to be honest with you, like a lot of my family, they're more street type of cats. They're more like, if I put my nephew Rock onto this, be like, okay, I see what they're getting at and shit. Yeah. And he's willing to at least like inspect it in good faith. But like other cats, I'll be like, what the fuck is this, yo? Like, what are they even saying?
I mean,
it's like they're not doing your complex lyricism like that. It's like more like a rapid fire stream of conscious. So there's not like poetic devices in there like that. The beats are like a combination of old school, new stool sample flips with weird type of shifts. So it's like this is hella weird. Yeah. This is hella weird.
To it, like I fucking adore this album. With all due respect to Cavalier and Mark Homme, I think this is my favorite album of the year so far. Or at least in terms of rap. Even rap or other genre, I really, really love this album. And when you liken this to Another Planet 4, which I believe made it to like third or fourth on my top 10.
I think it was third.
That album is very ambient. It's very drumless. A lot of the time, soundscapey. Lone Sword, Lungs.
Cinematic.
I wouldn't have expected that.
Taken a very cinematic. Yeah, like a lot of the tracks. Maybe you can play something off Another Planet 4. Like Don Quixote or something. I think that's
Don Quixote.
Yeah, that's
they got that shit out in America.
I mean, it's the guy.
It's Don. Don with a Q.
Yeah.
Okay. Not okay.
But not Don. No, you guys don't know about that. Donkey.
Everyone knows about that. This album is I don't want to say it's more traditional, but it's certainly a lot more drummy. It's a lot more like boom bappy. OLASEGUN is like.
It lacks percussion in a lot of the songs. Like the voices kind of function as a. I mean, there's a lot of hip hop that shares that quality of like even a lot of Woods or Arm & Hammer type of some Arm & Hammer or their affiliates kind of share that quality where it's like it's not necessarily listen to the lyrics, but like the percussion is what I'm doing with the sentence and where I'm landing. And so like to me it's not a problem, but being, you know, a 41-year-old b-boy who started breaking when I was 12, the drums speak to me, and that's one of the reasons that I like this album in particular. It's absolutely, clearly, easily my favorite work from either of them.
Right.
This album also for me is one of my favorites of the year.
Carrot Season, or this is Carrot
This is another planet.
Carrot
Season.
Season. Carrot Season.
But he's talking about Carrot Season.
Yeah, I'm talking about Carrot Season.
Like. But yeah, the presence of the drums on here, some of the beat changes, just OLASEGUN's choice of samples on here. Sometimes the album's incredibly funky, and like sometimes it's like soundscapey and weird, and you know that's all within the same track. The features on this album, like everyone is just consistently bringing heat. And it's like you have a very wide scope of MCs on here. It's all New York cats, I believe, but it's like, you know, you've got someone like you got Fatboi Sharif on this record who, you know, provides his own ambience, and we'll be talking about his album very shortly. But I don't know if I'm allowed to say that yet.
Spoiler. You guys look at it Friday. Yeah, it's two people with fat in their name. Yeah, and a producer that we all love. So yeah, it might be a secret.
Sorry, just to go back to this part, like OLASEGUN's production is amazing, and all over the album is great to listen to. The variation between, you know, like you were saying before, old school and new school, it keeps it going and keep it feeling refreshing and everything.
You know, like I always like Phiik and Lungs, their rapping and the things that they're saying, and I appreciate their styles. But for me, the star standout of this album is the work that OLASEGUN is doing. Yeah. The album, just like, you know, he I don't know if it's a he or not or they or, you know, whoever that person is, OLASEGUN. This is my first time really tapping into their work to the point where I was like, I didn't know how to pronounce the name until I heard the producer the producer tag. But yeah, this album, it's like, to me, this album is so amazing, and it kind of exemplifies hip hop for me. And I know that's like that's a caveat that I'm drawing from my own experiences. But it's got, you know, like the wild style rhyming, sample based production. It's got scratching. It's got those b-boy sensibilities. Most of the songs on here are a bit more up tempo. They a bit of a bounce to them. There's just creativity and originality exploding from like every moment. It adheres to all those ethics that in those traditions of dope that I grew up as like a 4-element kid. And it's still and like I don't think any like actual experience like description could do it like justice, but it reminds me of so many things. It reminds me of like the feeling I'd get when I would pick up like a new turntablist tape, like a DJ Rectangle tape, to speak of the West Coast, or like old Beat Junkies type of tapes, or even for like a old like early 90s, late 90s, like Green Lanterns, your Tony Touches, like that type of curated hip hop experience where it's like this kind of amalgam, but it has a cohesion because it's all kind of seen within like this scope of the producer or the person curating it. It's also like the way that Phiik and Lungs write and the way that they kind of bomb and how mixed up it is. It's like a perfect parking lot cipher type of, like, the homies just bombarding you and continuously over random beat changes, and also like the dopest homies that you know that just have the ability to grow a single wing and just be like super dope, but not like Pulitzer Prize winning, like, you know, the highest level of art you've ever seen.
I do think there are like some really great observations, and some of the subject matter on this record goes to really dope places. It's anti-authoritarian, it's, you know, anti-cop, it's fucking like pro-free expression. It's like fucking ill in those
respects. It's anti-fucking dork. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like be a fucking like don't be a fucking square. That's what I like about it. Like, to me, you know, like this is very like, this is a city album for me. I don't know if it's just because we live in fucking Tokyo, we ride the trains. You know, we were just talking about how time and space or change within you're in a city, and all these things are shifting around you, but like it is very much like a New York album to me. And I compared them on our last listen. I was like, they kind of remind me of like a Mobb Deep or the way that Mobb Deep is not just Havoc and Prodigy, it's also New York. They bring that. It's like a movie. They bring that character into the scope. In the day and age where like everybody's art sounds like whatever, and people's accents and their slangs and shit are all call it like from their internet timeline. You know, everybody uses it, but these guys have like that explicitly like New York kind of swagger kind of element to them that is not like some guy who's trying to bring it back to sound like an old like Italian guy from white Italian guy from New York. They sound like New Yorkers. They sound, it brings that with it. And so I was thinking like instead of you know not just Mobb Deep, but also it kind of reminds me a bit of like Hangar 18, where you had, you know, Alaska and Wind and Breeze who are just bombarding you, but the beats are also different. You know what I mean?
The double time, like the rapid fire, super precise
stream of consciousness, but also focus, hard, intelligent, smart, fly, New Yorker type of shit to say. That's what I get out of it.
And that's absolutely 100%. It's some Atom's Family, like Hangar 18 type shit. But at the same time, it's like the album's just so, you know, and I think in part it's OLASEGUN is to thank for that. It's just so like clean and contemporary. The album just sounds so good. It's like there are so many different ideas happening at any given time. You know, obviously the flows that are happening, the speed, the stream of consciousness, like, but then like listen to this beat, like Uninvolved, right? It's probably my favorite track on the album. Like,
you know, and almost like every single beat has multiple like movements to it. Every single beat is going to have like another element. Even he's just doing like simple things like a weird time stretch or change up the truncation or introduce a whole new beat. You know what I mean? Introduce a whole new beat, or there'll be at the end there'll be like some type of like media sample that contributes to it. It has the feeling like a continuous moving. It's like a train car. It's like watching flicks, so to speak. It's like watching the graffiti on the train cars go past you. It's like being you know, like seeing graph writing is like wild style, weird. What is that? You wonder how did they do it? And it's just like all of these cats are just continuously bombing. OLASEGUN is so ill with like these odd loop type of additions, the pitch switch, the time shifts, the media samples, the turntablism. There's just like a variety of genre sample pools here that are like kind of ultimately unrecognizable or unusual as a whole, but sometimes you'll pick up on something. It's just the same way as you pick up on something in the lyrics. It's a callback to, you know, The Cold Vein. You'll hear that part of like a DJ Shadow. Like the album starts off with like this, you know, like I'm not going to sample snitch, but if you were like me, you recognize those lyrics. And I was just like, it took me a second to pick up what it was, but then when it was, I was like, I gotta go back and listen to it. I gotta listen to this song, you know?
And I mean,
Give MCs visions of comets. And it starts with that. And then it's just like, it's so jazzy. It's so all over the place genre-wise. Jet hit me up the morning it came out. He was like, yo, this is the best album of the year. And I was like, I am 3 songs in, and if it continues down this trajectory, it definitely is. It definitely
consistently brilliant from start to finish. The entire record is fucking ill.
Uninvolved though.
The first time I listened to this record, I was grading papers at the college I teach at.
Nerd.
And one of my friends, one of my colleagues, Jack, he's like, hey man, you okay? Because I'm grading the papers, but the whole time I'm just doing this.
You fucking up.
Like rocking, and then like I'm
Tomoka, you fucking up.
Obviously moving the table while he's also trying to grade papers and shit. And he's just like, yo, you okay? I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm amazing. Yeah, what's up? And like, just slap her, like burner after burner on this record. And then you know, we haven't even talked about the features on here. It's like
the feature list is crazy.
The feature list is
crazy. The feature list is wild crazy.
And then I think, you know, Phiik and Lungs' style, like, kind of not necessarily like, you know, everybody sounds like themselves on here, but it's like you can tell everyone's like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
They're hearing the beats and they're writing.
They're getting off. And it's like everyone gets off at a similar kind of vibe. You know, the only person on here that I think kind of like doesn't change it up, and I don't mean this in a negative way. There's Sandman, and also YL. I would say, YL still is just like he just slides. Like
why
he's
change
just
it
like
up?
a cool
It works.
Guy. Why change it up?
That Sandman verse is one of my favorites.
Sandman's verse is crazy. I wasn't that familiar with Size Greeny's work before, his verse on PSG Grip is a strong candidate for the best verse on the album.
That's who I was playing when y'all came into the house. Like I was just I don't know if it's Sice or Cease Greeny, but yeah, I actually was just recently like I don't be tapped into the internet like that. Like, you know, people put me on albums, people put me on things, but I wasn't aware of like the fuller, like I didn't know Silence was a part of like Tay's Grip. But you know, all of these cats, they work tremendously together. I wasn't also familiar with Michael Christmas, but Michael Christmas is bombing on this. Gam. One of the things I like about all the features on the album is that you can feel a bit overloaded by like sensory overload with the changes and with just Phiik and Lungs approach to it, because they're relentless. It's fucking jackhammer. You know what I mean? It's like being in a city almost. It's like consistently, like you don't escape any of it, and it's nice. The beats bring you into these kind of like softer places and more melodic places. But then you'll get like a verse like Sandman, and it'll like really smooth it out, or like YL that'll really smooth it out. And even the guys who are usually like on some shit like Sharif
Wavy Bagels,
Sharif is gonna or Wavy Bagels. Lord Jah-Monte Ogbon kills too. Elric too. Like everything is firing on all cylinders for me. Did you walk away on this album like even close to the type of titillation that me and Jed are going off?
Yeah, no.
Is this not your type of jam or?
No, it was my jam. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I mean, as my first time hearing these guys, you know, it's evident that they've been tapped in for a while. You know, going back and forth, and they just complement each other so well on the tracks. It feels so natural going back and forth between them. Their different cadence and flows, and you know, even just their voices. You know, even though I couldn't tell who was who, I could distinctly be like, okay, this is him, and he's doing this style, and he's dope, and he's doing his thing over here, and he's also fucking dope. And then the production just taps it all in. And the one thing I wanted to say before about the production and how OLASEGUN was so like pulling media samples and these like little micro chops here and there, everything. It just shows someone who's just well studied and just well rounded as a producer, that they have this whole library that they just evidently just, you know, this matches this, let me add this. Like, it just someone who seems to have a very widespread of the what's the word of the field. Speaking, I guess, you know?
Yeah, and even with those media samples too, you'll find also like I recognize like LP's voice on here a couple times. I'm not sure about a couple of the other people on here, but you know, the reason I ask you and say like, did you like it? I don't know, because like, you know, Jed and I have been doing Secret House for 3 years, and you've come in, you know, probably less than 10 times, right? And so I'm still kind of trying to figure out your sensibility when it comes to stuff like this, because like I said, most of the time I get, you know, I know you as like a smart, like,
I know you were fucking with this
a thinker and shit.
This one right here.
The switch up on Kurt
McBurt was crazy, bro.
I think that just dropped as a single like yesterday.
I think there's a music video. I saw it show up. I didn't watch it yet, but there's a music. This is one of my favorites on the album. Hey, yo, humble yourself and shut the fuck up, nerd. If you start a verse with that, you know, like I'm a civilian. I've never been a gangbanger or anything like that, but we was definitely not with. We was outside when I was a kid. You know, we was writing graffiti. We was fucking throwing bottles at you know, like breaking it. Like I just, a lot of this speaks to me. This is an album that makes me, when I'm walking around, I feel like really b-boy. I feel like I should write on this wall, like, and I'm all for that, like, you know, like.
Wait, what were you saying before? You kind of lost your train of thought.
Excuse me, I do that. Also, I'm drinking. Shout out to Yeska, you know what I mean? Got the graffiti. Yeah, shout out to my man Yeska. But and also Remixer, you know the vibes. But anyways, no, what I was saying is that I'm still learning your sensibilities about music, and I am perfectly fine if a person listens to this and be like, this is not for me, because I feel that way about a lot of art too, but there is a lot of art that, like, I recognize that, oh, okay, well, I don't really necessarily care for this, but I still, like, understand why people get it. And with this, you know, like, you might be on that level where it's like, I get why people like it. I don't have anything bad to say about it, but it doesn't necessarily, you know, it's not my sensibility of enjoyment.
You know, it's funny you say that, because to be honest, what was the other album? Another Planet.
Another Planet. 4,
Another Planet 4. If that was the album that I was reviewing with you guys, I may have felt that way. Like I love listening to drumless beats, but like I get why people can go like crazy over it. But for me personally, like you said before about like having that b-boy sensibility, I just sometimes I just need that snare and kick. I just need to have like some drums to complement the voices.
Yeah.
So for me personally, like, if it was that album, I would have felt that way. But because of the production on this, because of the drums that were part of the process involved with the beat, it just made it a great album for me to listen to. I really enjoyed it. And I was gonna say something else. What was it? You said something.
I don't know. I'll be rambling, bro. That's the thing about Secret House. We don't have like a formula. Like even when
no. This is like I say a thing. Mega says that's a good pull, and then he rambles and he autodidacts himself into the most profound shit I've heard all week. And I'm like, hey, and then it gets clipped on someone's Instagram, and I'm like, hey, Secret House.
Yeah, bro. Like the only thing I know is going to happen is like, we're going to introduce the show, be like, yo, shout out Tokyo. This is the artist. This is how many songs. This is the numbers. This is how we know them. And then the rest of it is whatever. Yeah,
but I did remember what I was going to say. Some of the tracks on this album, especially some of the more like, even though it's an upbeat album, some of the more darker joints, it kind of reminded me of, I don't want to compare, like just to compare for the sake of it, but Joey Badass, like Summer Nights, that album was a very like a dark boom bap almost album. Sure. And I felt a couple of the songs, one of the rappers, like I could just, it just felt like,
you see that sensibility, like, you look at a track like Daily Operation, where the sample, I can't tell you specifically what show or movie, but it's the like the like, the kind of surprise, like, I mean, we've got to fast forward a little bit, but like,
like this sort of thing, you feel me? Like it just makes me feel like Summer Nights,
Star Trek original series or like from a cartoon or what, but like, it has that same kind of sense. It's even in its darker moments, it has this kind of distinctly like lighthearted New York type sensibility, the kind of thing that you would see, to be fair, on like a Mad Villainy as well, where it's like you have some like sort of darker ambience to it, but at the same time there's just a degree of like, this is the villainy, this is the cartoon villainy rather, and that kind of popular culture angle, which I think is something that is not necessarily unique to New York rap, because obviously Madlib is from California, but like you have this kind of, it's dark, but at the same time it's like, people are having fun with this. This is two friends who, as far as I'm concerned, you put them up against any duo in hip hop. Like I'm team Phiik and Lungs now, but like, it's clearly also just two friends having a good time. Who have had this really great musical bed.
Like putting out music that feels like them.
That feels like them. It feels like that moment. Like, it's deeply authentic to who they are.
That's the important thing. That's so authentic. I think that, and it just shows through the songs in it.
Like people like is like. For that last beat, that reminds me of like some end burner shit. That reminds me of like Inside the Train Station, a little bit maybe like the Blue Hour type of Mornings in Tokyo type of like, like eminently planning for your demise, like, eminentizing the Eschaton type of like really kind of crazy, like not sinister, but still like I'll punch you in your shit type of beat. But this one also has that kind of New York sensibility of like this something bells kind of like New York summer afternoon type of like, we out, like
really
stoop music, like really kind of beautiful.
It's the bells,
and then like Lung Swords is like
the One Love beat of
you know what I mean?
The bells like and primo like
and like one of the things that I wish was like more easy for me to get with is like I've recently decided that because we do the show and I be trying to type lyrics out to bring them out, like I'm so tired of it. I wish MCs would just put their lyrics out. I understand it's like a choice or whatever, and it's also like a whole thing you got to put together, and it's more labor for them. But like I listened to it and I was just like, some of the lines stuck in my head, and I didn't have to like. You know what I mean? On this track, he's like, sick bastard basking in a bad day. Your cask rewind and find its way home the moment that you press play. I'm just like, bro, like there's like on every single track, I'm just like, that's a hard ass thing to say.
It might be the start of a genocide.
That's a hard thing to say. And I think there's like 3 moments where it's like on this album where Phiik is like, yo, tell the pigs my name is this. You know what I mean? Tell my pigs my name is this. Tell the pigs my name is, and it also gives like that parking lot cipher that I was talking about, like mental looping a you know what I mean? But just bringing it back and just like there's an immediacy to it. There's something that's forward and always moving with it, but it's not necessarily as ephemeral as graffiti. Like it's not there today and gone tomorrow, painted over. It's like something about this is magical, bro. I like it, and I don't even know what like a lot of the meanings are. Like I was thinking carrot season, that must be like duck season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season. The Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck shit. It's carrot season. It's time to get, you know what I mean, this money. And like, you know, songs like John Taffer. I know John Taffer because like he's the bar rescue cat. You guys know? No, he was like a dude who used to go to other people's bars that were like failing and about to go under, and then he would like tell them how to like get it done. But he was also like a wild asshole. Be like, "What is it?" You know, like he call out people like he pouring the drinks wrong and shit. And it's like, you know, I used to come home like wild bomb from like Tacoma Gome back when I lived in Komagome, Tokyo, and it's like yeah. I know he's a wild bitch ass motherfucker too though, because he be hating on workers, but like I was just like, yo, where are these things coming from? And I don't necessarily feel that I have to listen to this album over and over again to kind of like do some type of like social archaeology and figure out where they're talking about, because at the end of the day, this is also just like a real dope album to just like put on. Like I feel like I don't care if you are like a cat that likes Joey Badass or a cat that likes you know, fucking Nas or anything. The beats and the way that the musical qualities of this shit, even if you're like, yo, these MCs are wild and weird, you're still gonna be like, okay, it moves enough to keep you involved. It's interesting, and there's just something just like wildly explosive about this that I just feel, again, I like all their old shit, and I'm not here to debate what is best or what isn't best or where they most like, you know, did something weird or the best way their music sounds. But for me, this is easily my favorite Phiik and Lungs joint. And I've been going back because I wasn't super familiar with them before, but I've been going back and getting familiar. You know, the shit with No Faces, Fire, and it's like I like a lot of their stuff, but this is like an end-to-end burner. This is like a perfectly just like the length of the album, the everything about it. I've been using this to like really uplift myself and feel good about shit.
I now feel like I also need to go back and check out OLASEGUN's discography. Like, I know they have some stuff with AJ Suede, friend of the show. I know they have some stuff with DFNS, or Defense. I don't know how you pronounce it. No.
Nah.
AJ Suede.
AJ Suede, I see.
Nah, not L Spade Suede.
not
AJ Spade.
Arch nemesis AJ Suede and DJ L Spade.
Nah, he said the show got better after Spade left, and I was like, well, I can see why you say it.
He said he got better because of Spade's review, though. So, you know, swings and roundabouts.
He was just like, I gotta make it undeniable, and he does. I fucking love it. Shout out to AJ
Suede.
Fucking fire desk.
This shit's fucking fire. PSG grip, like.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, bro. Just a second, Jet. Like that.
Let's just right.
That beat, bro. And then it's like he don't just let it
Slum Village type shit. Like it's
He don't just let it sit. It's gonna turn into some other. You know what I mean?
Shouts out to Size Green or C's Green. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong.
Yeah, you know we got Phiik
Lungs called us out on this. So we saying Phiik
and Lungs
in the last review.
But now I got it right. Phiik, shout out. Yeah, but no, this one is amazing, bro. Like I Daily Operation, fucking Black Magic Build a Rainbow, Paradigm Shift, Zombified, Doof is on that, fucking AKAI Solo Bombs, Silence Bombs. Yo, this is. Yeah, this is definitely hovering in my top 5 easily. Yeah, it's dope. My favorites, of course. You know, I've been a big fan of the Cav. I've been a big fan of the Shrapnel. Also the Makami shit. Like, it's a good album. It's a very fun album to go back to. I like a lot of albums. And this year, Jet and we're gonna put together 2 lists.
Oh shit!
We're gonna put together an LP list, albums over 35 minutes, in the old tradition, and an EP list, so to speak.
Yeah, okay.
And so that makes it a little easier.
That's fair. Yeah,
it makes it a little easier because there's like, you know what I mean, like you look at like Black Chai and August Fanon. It's like 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not trying to put 55 minutes of bombing. It's like 2 albums versus one type of arrangement. So
that's one thing I would say about the album. How do you guys feel about the time, the length of it, the duration?
It's so fire from start to finish. It could have been 2 hours long, and I still would have been like, this is the illest shit. Like, I have complained about albums about an hour long on the show before because they lost my attention, because I didn't feel like they consistently upheld the level of quality they do. I could see this being exhausting for people, although I do think that the features and the change-ups and just generally the sonic qualities of the album prevent it from becoming overbearing, which can absolutely be a thing with some records. This is a very, very breezy 56 minutes.
This is perfect for me. Of course, I being an older cat, like if you buy a new album and you're not getting the full 80 minutes or whatever, you kind of feel like, oh man, I paid $50. That's an old school thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember.
That's an old school type of thought.
Yeah, you gotta pay for that.
But I also think like a pocket for like a really perfect, like really good album is about 35-40 minutes. But I in my older age, I think a perfect album is like a DJ set. It's like really? A set. Yeah. So 55 minutes is about perfect. I got an hour on, I get on, I hit you with a little bit of this, and then I pull it in, and then as I'm getting out of there and switching, you know what I mean? As I'm getting out of there and switching off, about an hour is perfect. And this is that.
Word.
Yeah. I don't actually think about the length too much unless the album's not good.
That's actually a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't think about the pause.
Or like, would the album be better if it was?
I don't pause,
bro. Would the album be better if you cut five tracks off of it?
Yeah.
In this case, no, absolutely, this album's fucking fire from start to finish.
I don't have a song on here that I don't like, but I definitely have some that I think are just amazing.
Some favorites?
Yeah, absolutely.
Desi, you go first, because me and Mega are probably just gonna list off 90%.
I am going to list off all of mine.
You can go last.
Okay.
I mean, like you said, I don't got beef with any song specifically, but Dents, Daily. Thank you. Sorry.
Dents is fire.
Analog ass nigga. Sorry.
I like
Flip Gazpacho just for the way it started. I fucking like that shit. Amazon Breakfast had a really dope, halfway through, there's some sample or texture that was added. I fucking love that shit. Kurt McBurt, Dents, Daily Operation, PSG Grip, Paradigm Shift as well. Paradigm Shift, man.
Sharif.
I remember when I first started doing the show and Meg was talking about Fatboi Sharif, and just every time he's on a track, I'm like, yo, he's fucking dope.
This guy's a fucking problem, man.
I got more to say, but I'm gonna save that for. Yeah. Anyways, those were some of my favorites. Production wise.
All right. So from Gazpacho up until
I'm going. I'm at the crib going before Mega does.
Pass the flow with the Free Willy.
Left the game dizzy. Kurt McButt, Dents, Daily Operation, PSG Grip, From the Dirt, Paradigm Shift, Shorty Broke My Heart at an Usher concert.
That's a good one too.
You know what we could have done on this, Jet? We could have ranked our favorite songs.
Just ranked
have to rank them. Because now, Kurt McBurt is the one, Gazpacho got me immediately. I was pulled in immediately with that joint.
Yeah, dragged you,
but Kurt McBurt is the one where it's like, oh, y'all are fucking wilding. Dashcam.
Uninvolved. Did I say Uninvolved? That's my favorite song on the album. Uninvolved.
Yeah,
that shit's incredible.
Especially kind of the bridge that Phiik is pulling off, around around 1 minute. It's he just... little melodic.
We completely uninvolved, y'all.
Nah,
So
I don't know.
Fire, man.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah,
all of them.
I like all of them. Yeah, peace. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. Secret House Against.
Patrons on screen right
Tokyo
now.
Bass, Hip Hop Art and Culture Conversations. They're not really reviews. I don't like to call them reviews like that. They're conversations as pretentious as that could be taken. Eat a dick, cookie.
Hey.
Couldn't pass a flow test with a Free Willy. Love that shit.
Yo, you know what my name is for the cops? I use my high school best friend. I always tell them my name is Kari Watson. And they'd be like, what? I'd be like, what, son? Kari Watson. Yeah, shout out to my brother Kari. This is my super twin.
I used to use Pablo Augustus.
Pablo Augustus?
Nigga, no one believe in that shit. There's no way.
I mean, but it's slightly, it's right there.
That was also the one I would get.
He could be a Kurt McBurt.
People would when you had Jehovah's Witnesses coming to the door or whatever. They're what? Can I have your name? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm Pablo. Pablo Augustus. Shouts out to Augustus Pablo.
I don't get it. Would that scare them off or some shit?
No. It's just I didn't want to give them my name.
You know what I mean? Got flip it on.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there was a certain meaning for that name.
It's Augustus Pablo is a legendary Jamaican musician, but I
gotta get him.
Pablo Augustus. Yeah.
I just use Jacob.
Jacob.
Yeah, there was this light skinned nigga in my high school named Jacob, and I was like, that sounds like a light skinned name, so I just chose that.
Arnold Onyabor.
I used to use that as a call center too. Like, I'd get way more like follow throughs.
I don't know, yo. I worked at a call center for like 6 weeks. Yeah, I got fired because we would try to come up. We'd be like, all right, let's do a Jamaican accent and try to talk. It's like, we'd be like, hey, what do you want to go on? I got one, and I didn't know no Jamaican accent. Like, you want the HBO package? yeah. I got fired in like 6 weeks, but yeah, yo, shout out.
Anyways, that's
CCOM. I think it was that shit. Yeah.
That's going in a different direction though.
Shit, that was like 2002. Yeah, wildin'. But anyways, yeah, peace. Thank you.
Carrot season.
Yo.